People deluded, I'm back again. Thank you very much for tuning back in each and every time. I really appreciate those of you who have tuned in, people. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, and good night, depending on who you are, wherever you are. Big up all the Arsenal fans and people locked in general. You got nothing to do with Arsenal, nonetheless. One love, people. Big up everybody locked in. Please make sure you're hitting the like button. And like I said, I hope you're all doing well and safe. I hope you're all in good spirits. I hope you're all feeling as better as you can be, knowing the news that top six monopoly nonsense mafia excuse of a league, the European Super League, is no more, people. I say happy as you can be because let's remember the battle isn't done. We're going to get into Stan Kroenke and things like that, and you lot keep running what you're running in the live chat, people. We need it to keep going, but at the same time, UEFA, it was that league was the case of the devil we know and the devil we don't know. We've dealt with the devil that we don't know temporarily. It's the devil we do know. And let's be real. As much as I want to believe us fans, and we did have a voice, and the backlash did play a part, and I want to hope that these clubs saw sense. Part of me doesn't believe that and thinks, cool, this is all calculated. They didn't come out with that idea overnight. They're not just randomly going to give it up. Have they been given what they needed? And we've all seen the sneaky changes UEFA are bringing into the competitions. So that's for our next fight. Please make sure you're hitting the like button, people. Before I go on, big shout out and one love to Liz. I know you've had a difficult time in hospital and things like that. Nice to see you're in good health and you're all over that. And thank you for your support that you always give me for my deluded stuff. Like I said, big up yourself, Liz, if you're out there listening. So yeah, people, as you can see, no surprises as to why we're here. No surprises as to what we're going to talk about. I don't know if I'm going to do that, but I'm going to just say my thing, if that makes sense. Again, we all know what's to be said. What's already understood doesn't need to be said, people. So let me jump straight back in. Big up all the members, big up all the viewers and whatnot. But it's time to get into it, people, because if I don't, it's never going to get out. And you lot, as much as you say I'm therapy for you lot are therapy for me. And I've got some things to say, people. So let me zoom in a bit. And let's start with this weasel of an owner. Now, in the most respectful way, Stan Kroenke, please leave this football club. The first thing I think of at Arsenal, when I grew up supporting Arsenal and things, is integrity, values, winning through harmony, all of these positive things. We show none of those now. Over the last year, for several incidences, whether it's speaking about injustice, whether it's, wage cuts and what's been happening with Corona, whether it's stuff like what we've seen in the last 24, 48, 72 hours, time and time again, Arsenal Football Club have not shown this class and stuff that we were raised upon, some of us. And that's been ingrained in us for years and things like that. He tried to sell us up the river. He's been selling us up the river. When he first got his first clause into this club, we began to die, and that poison has spread, people. And we really stopped being a football club in 2018 when he became the majority shareholder, people. Enough's enough, and the man needs to go. As I said, he's killed the club, or better yet, he's killing the club. He's killed the culture. He tried to sell the soul of the club, if there is any. There's not one word coming from him. He sits on that ivory tower. He's got his little henchmen, as I call, on the ground. At least with John Henry, not that I'm not defending him. At least he got pressured into an interview. What we got was some half-assed apology from Arsenal, and I'll get into it. But this is why Kroenke's a weasel, and he's a smart man, because whatever you say about Vinay, about all these guys, they're just puppets and pawns in the grand scheme of things, doing the boss's bidding, and they're not going to be there, people. As I said, people, skipping ahead, he's played a blinder from his point of view because there's no accountability. Arsenal took a back seat when we actually got into this competition. We've given out a shoddy apology, and there's still nothing from our club, and he's hid behind his employees. Aubameyang's deactivated, then reactivated, then deactivated his Twitter account. Big up Aubameyang for his messages, not just about this, because in the grand scheme of things, as much as I feel this was a win, the biggest win I've seen this week is temporarily for George Floyd, and hopefully when sentencing is passed for that scum of a human being, justice is somewhat served. Now, again, it's a small victory over in America, in which is a long-lasting battle of black guys and girls being killed for daring to just be black and live their lives. So that's the real W in this week for me. But this is also a temporary W. Like I said, fans, collectively, we have a voice. And I must admit, I thought it was hopeless. Can you blame me? because I've watched the club that I've grown up on, that I live off, that I'm emotionally invested with, time and time again, just let me down, just not thinking me. So I'm sure you lot can forgive me. But now, people, now other than ever, we have a voice. Crucially, people, and I'll get into it, it's got to go beyond the Twitter hashtag. We've got to continue this, because this has happened before. And then when we start winning games, people want to allow it. If we go on an unbeaten streak like under Una Emre, if we have these little game wins where people start saying we're back under Arteta, if we win an FA Cup, if we win the Europa League, I'm not saying don't savor these moments, but never let it be forgotten that my man needs to leave this club, because that's what they're banking on. That will, scream and shout, will do what needs to be done on Friday, and that's it. We need to keep it going, people. Again, there needs to be a plan beyond just stomping our feet and protesting, but that's a start. Like I said, we've got, if you imagine a midfielder, we're all midfielders, we're out picket fencing, shouting, but what happens? You lose energy. So we need a tangible reason. Of course, there's the typical don't buy merchandise, don't buy all of these things, and they are all things, people, but we need to keep going. And I'd say big up the international fans. When you hear their, what they're doing as well in terms of, leaving little internet clubs and disassociating with the club, Kroenke can't have any complaints, people. And like I said, he's played a blinder, because here, as you can see, Arteta is going to be asked about Everton, but he's going to have to field questions like other managers on this, people. Tomorrow, Vinay, and it ain't going to be pretty, he's speaking to fans. Now, considering he's recently, resigned from the ECA, we obviously was meant to have, this is a rescheduled fans forum or whatever. As much as they can manipulate it over Zoom, he's going to face some heat. Now, again, it's his job, but he's going to face some heat. The players will continue to feel weird, because they'll be struggling to really realize what is the values of this football club, and the players will be asked on this. And really, the players should not be asked on this. I have to answer questions on this. The players, as you could see with many, they're not happy about it. They don't make the decisions, people. All they could do is probably refuse to play and such. Like I said, people, Stan is hidden behind his employees time and time again, and he's got his henchmen. Josh Kroenke, he scammed some of you lot. He looked like the son that wants to do it right, and his dad's moving mad. No, that's his last name. He's gone. I'm sure he wants to be a nice guy. Get out the club. Stan, silent Stan. Less said the better. What's already understood doesn't need to be further explained. Lord Harris, Tim Lewis, who he's employed. All of these self-selected henchmen that are his eyes and ears need to go as well, because they're not footballing men. He could have that. In principle, I wouldn't even mind an owner who's not too hands-on and he's got people delegated that he trusts. In theory, that sounds amazing. But when you don't care about football, when these lot have half a thingy on football, how can they really critique Arteta and Edu on best practices and surround them with the best beautiful tools that could be available to them to do their job? It's an absolute farce, people. The quicker this guy is gone, the better. Now, again, as much as I love what we're doing and seeing Ian Wright and all these people speak about it, it's got to go beyond the Twitter hashtag. That has to be the first of many protests. And one luxury right now for Arsenal is that the fans aren't allowed in the grounds, because fans would have had a lot to say about our season anyways. Definitely our home form, and definitely this. And the one thing I'd say with that's good for the players, because they don't deserve it. And the players are going to be a byproduct. Even when we're allowed back in, we need to keep up this energy. People can say it's going to get toxic. The fans don't deserve it. The players don't deserve it. A lot of that's true. But in war, casualties die, it is what it is, people. We need to continue this. We cannot silence about it. And it doesn't, just because you're protesting or not, doesn't mean anything. There's all different ways of doing it. We need to keep this going. We can never leave any shadow of a doubt of our feelings if he doesn't know where we're at with Kroenke, which he probably does. I'm pretty sure by all them other American teams, the man's probably hated and things like that. And again, people, like I said, even because as much as I feel it all comes from the owner and the mentality comes from the owner, he's not the only reason. And that's probably the only positive I can give him. He's not the only reason we've been here. But like I said, if you want to be a winner, you employ footballing men. Or if you don't employ footballing men, when people make decisions, they have to account for them. And they haven't seen that, because at the end of the day, we've spent 300 odd million in recent years and got fuck all to show for it. Pardon my language. Yeah, we've got FA Cups. I'm not belittling them. But again, the culture, the mentality, the practices of this football club, the trajectory of this club, it all falls by him. He might not be an accountant, he might not be a transfer man, he might not be any of this, but nothing is made in terms of a decision at this football club without his final say so, or at least people he's put there. But we already know this, people. Again, the quicker he goes, the better. We've never had a better time to do it, like I said, people. And my message for the fans, first and foremost, would be, it's only just starting. This is just the start. We're not going to win tomorrow. We're not going to win in a month. We're not. This is a long battle. This might even take years. I hope it don't. I hope he busts out next week, 24 hours. But this is going to be a massive battle. So we need to remember this, give Arteta or whoever is going to be the manager or whoever, for however long, their support, players the same, obviously, constructive criticism, praise and critique fairly and whatnot, but we can never forget the collective. Even if we win the Europa League, which isn't happening, we still need to keep it up. That should, as much as I justify the players being praised, arguably that's what needs to be spoken about. So again, we leave them in without any shadow of a doubt where we feel with these guys, people, and again, it's got to go beyond the Twitter hashtag. It's got to go beyond protesting. I don't know the answer. I'm saying these things are a component, but we need to find the next way. We need to find it, and I don't have it, but once we find it, let's go. So it's only just starting. It's only just half the battle. But when I see the protests, when I'm seeing supporter groups online denounce Arsenal, these are all talking points, and the players are not in a bubble. They'll know exactly where they stand, people. It's only half the job though. So we need to keep it up. Maybe we should have even kept it up when we won the FA Cup under Arteta last year, or even got to finals and those sort of things under Unai Emery. No matter what, it has to continue. No matter what you say about the manager, about the players, that man at the top needs to go. That's the one. You get rid of the shepherd, the sheep have no chance. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that, people. It will get ugly. The players might catch strays. It might get toxic and all of these things. But like I said, when you go to war, you can't be nice. If you want change, this is the sort of things you need to go through. And fans, individually, we're weak. Together, you see the strength. Like I said, I forgot about it. But when I'm seeing you lot go hard and I'm seeing the things, it's gassing me. And then we're stronger together. We're stronger than we think. We're still divided. We're still probably the weak guys, but we have a voice. And if we just come under one movement, we need unity. It doesn't matter who you are. Let's be real. I'm talking to Arsenal fans, and I know there's other fans, and that's for them. But there is a small minority of snooty Arsenal fans. There's fans that, they might be of another class. They might be fans that are let into certain fan groups, fans that some fans think they're better than other fans because they go to games. All of that is tosh. As long as you love this club with all your heart, this is the thing, people, because we're going to sit here and we can moan about, was Emre the guy or was he not the guy? Is Arteta the guy? Is he the guy? Was Wenger the guy? Glazides, Mislintat, Raul Sanya, and I'm not defending Glazides. I am definitely not defending Glazides. But we've had all these different guys and all these different things going on like today, and the one variable has been underachieving. Who is that down to? The owner. This is the owner's love child. At the end of the day, I remember there's a lot of money to be made in football, but there's also that classic saying, there's no money in football. It's a passion thing. We don't see that. He hasn't got a passion. We see propaganda pieces about, I was actually at 14 games last season, courtesy of the Athletic. F off. He was not at 14 games. I see you at cup finals, if that, How many times has Arteta probably had a conversation with you or Aubameyang, and Lord knows how they feel. Lord knows how Aubameyang must feel. Lord knows how Arteta must feel for all the things Arteta has gone through since this man taken the club. He's just been thrown this. And not even that. You've disrespected the fans. You've disrespected our global brand. You've disrespected your own team. You've hung them out to dry. You kept everyone in the dark. This is why I don't buy them excuses. Do you think a football club that's worth billions of pounds, one that has been struggling in terms of sporting success, but consistent in terms of commercial, do you think they're going to make these decisions to leave the Super League, which again, we need to ask why they did it? Was it due to integrity, or did UEFA forgive you what you allegedly wanted in first place? In the actual build-up to the Super League. Again, we heard rumours. I was online with Tom. He was saying there was talk about this since October. It seems like it all went fast for us, but these lot are not going to make it. Not everything is calculated. Nothing's by accident. They will play on your emotional heartstrings, people. Don't allow them to, because, again, we've never had a better chance. At the same time, just because I feel we're making noise, it doesn't necessarily mean we're going to move this man, but we've never had a better chance. And for me, the key thing is consistency. We can never let it be forgotten. We can never let it die down. We need energy, people. It's as simple as that. But as we're in relation to Stan Kroenke, as you can see in the first timestamp here, come out the club, man. I'm trying to be nice. Just come out the club. You don't care about it. You don't care about it. And a club, like anything, any owner of any company, some degree, it's got to be a reflection of the shareholders or the sole shareholder. Do I need to say anything in that regards, people? I don't, do I? So the less we can say of this silent stand, brother, the better, man. It's crazy. It's absolutely appalling, man. And again, You know, it needs to be pressure. Let's be real. The protest coming on Friday, you know, they're brief, they're prepared for it. So they're gonna, you know, they were prepared for that sort of stuff. They're gonna feel the heat and then they're gonna get over it. But it's about the next day. It's about, you know, the common man or woman that just bops past the Emirates, you know, make your little noise and keep it moving every damn day. Never let them forget people. And like I said, the players, Vinay, Raul, Edu, it's unfortunate, maybe even Mertesacker, you lot are on the ground. You lot are going to face the heat, but it's a necessary evil. I felt sorry for Petr Cech, you know. In the best of days, one thing I give Petr Cech, I know it was a bit booky how he ended his Arsenal career, went back to them, man, there. But, you know, he's always been someone that's spoken out about things. Why am I seeing Petr Cech telling fans to calm down? One, he shouldn't have to be explaining it. Two, he's putting his own health at risk and his own safety. Three, it's not in his job title, blood. Four, you know, he never said, let's go join that. So again, these owners are scummy, man. Scummy. The less said about it, the better, man. The less, not even no, I normally say that, but dead. And I would like to see the same energy for racism as well, people. But the better these lot go, the better, man. You know, again, it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard, you know. If again, I buy merchandise, it's gonna be hard. But again, it doesn't matter if you're buying merchandise, whatever. What you know, I mean, stop buying merchandise, making noise, doing what you know. The international fans, them doing what you lot can do. We just keep it going. Never let them forget. We can never let this club forget how we truly feel. We've never had a better chance. I've always felt this way. And one thing about YouTube people, you can always tell when people are capping or not, because you can go through my thing. When it comes to racism and it comes to Kroenke, these are things, like a couple people, I've been very vocal on people. I felt, woe is me. I felt, you know what, as much as I want this thing to go, what can I do? And how many times have I said on my live streams, I don't know what we do, but the minute we find something, someone shout me and let's do this, I still don't think we have that tangible answer, but it's there now. We need to give it our best shot. If we give it our best shot and it doesn't work, people, then what can you say? Fair enough. It is what it is. We regroup or we give up. But we need to do this thing. And like I said, together. Never ever let them think and forget that this thing is done until he has enough. And clearly this man's in Stan Kroenke, I don't want to call it pain tolerance, but his pain tolerance is strong. Let's be real. We, you know, in war, you need to know the enemy you're going against. This is a man who moved one NFL team to another state. This is a man who Arsenal have been very vocal on. You know, we've been criticizing. You know, he's been criticized in his homeland in America for many different reasons. He's able to withstand this stuff. This stuff doesn't necessarily shake him. So again, we're going to need to do something that we've never done before. When I look at Stan Kroenke, forgive me if I'm wrong, and I love my American viewers to update me, has he ever been forced out of any club? So to do that, it needs to be proper and even going beyond Arsenal. If there's a way of, listen, I don't want to link up with Spurs fans, but if there's a way, joint protests, you know, Arsenal, Chelsea, Spurs, United, any damn team, you know, is there a way of doing joint? You know, there's safety in numbers, there's strength in numbers, you know, because Arsenal fans, United fans is just doing one thing. It's a next one when it's a global sort of movement, when there's a proper sort of movement, you know. The one common denominator is that we want these guys out of the club. You know, that if they, in theory, if all of these American owners did it in the way that we thought, there's nothing wrong really with a Super League or actually wanting to play better games. But we know it's done for coin. They don't get it in this. And what was killing me in my last live stream yesterday, a lot of American fans were like, "This is why we hate sport. You can't dream in America anymore, and we can't have that here." You know, what about that common kid on the estate that dreams of playing in the Premier League and much less winning it? Raheem Sterling and all these things, you know, these sort of things will become extremely more difficult if we let the game furthermore fall into distress. And what I will say, people, we need to remember the job isn't done. It's not done, people. It is not done at all. You know, Premier League, were they not trying to make a 39 game once upon a time and charge us how much money for, in fact, that's Sky Sports for Super Sunday games? We've got to go after all of them. You know, their strength in numbers. You know, you saw our little backlash. They got rid of pay per view, some of those things. You're now seeing clubs backtrack and you know, the dominoes were falling. And it was a shameful night for every club that done the dash. And this morning with the European clubs. Absolute disgraceful, because you stand for nothing. I wouldn't respect you lot regardless, but I'd respect you lot more if you just said, you know what, we're staying in the Super League, you know, because at least I could admire an enemy and saying at least he stuck to some principles. You're spineless. You tried to do this thing on a snaky one, you got pressured and you bust out. So you stand for nothing. You're weak and feeble, which kind of sums up Arsenal's playing staff in general. Sorry to give them a straight. They don't really deserve that. but you get the point, man. We get the point, man. But like I said, we're going to war, people. This is a serious thing. We need to know exactly what we're going against, man. And this is it, Aston. They didn't care about protests. It's because they were paid off, and that's initially what they wanted. You know, if you were planning this for months, you're not going to be easily shaken. Because, like I said, it's all calculated. They knew there'd be backlash. They knew there'd be protests. They knew there'd be defiance. They knew there'd be mad threats and mad sanctions. They knew this might threaten the fabric of even transfers and academies and the rest of it. They were still prepared to do it. They didn't care. They were prepared to do it, you know. So they're calculated. They're very and they know how to play on your emotional heartstrings. You know, all of them, they did it. You know, don't believe John Henry. Don't believe these club statements because again, they know right from wrong. Don't praise people for doing and saying the right things in times like this. It's just handling business. You know, people are praising Arsenal for being one of the only clubs to say sorry. No, fuck that. Shouldn't have done it in the first place, man. Crazy, man. Absolutely appalling. Exactly. RP George Floyd. That's the one thing I care about more than this thing, man. Simple things, you know. Is what it is. Exactly, man. That's upsetting, man. Nah, man. Again, I understand why they wouldn't want their owners out or would want their owners out. But same way, come together because it doesn't matter. All right, cool. If you're cool with your thing at Chelsea or your owner at City, join other clubs. Go and help United because they're not safety in numbers. We all love the game. See how fans come together for this thing yesterday and the day before. I'm seeing United fans saying, you know, Glazer out, Kroenke out, Arsenal the same. It's like the Bloods and Crips coming to a resolution. So we need everybody. We need every fan. You know, and what I can't take is the hypocrites, the Sky Sports, the Premier League, the PFA, the FA, all of these guys coming and sounding like hypocrites, even Sam Allardyce. Now, why did you lose your England job, big man? What did you do to Ravel Morrison? What is your relationships with certain agents and applying pressure to certain players to sign with certain agencies? Allow it, man. Allow it. Don't let these people shag you. Don't let these people shag you, man. Absolute madness. Can't let up, broski. In South America, ESPN stopped broadcasting Arsenal games. Is there a reason for that? Let me know, but I can't really speak on that. Malcolm has said, what did you think of Tim with Sky Sports this morning getting in touch with the PM to get Kroenke out? I don't know about any of that. But, you know, anything to get my man out. But again, at the same time, what can the PM do? There's laws, you know, the PM can't pressure him to sell it, you know, he can't. And at the same time, away from Kroenke, even the Prime Minister, which is a Tory Prime Minister, and Boris Johnson, I'm definitely not gonna condone anything that racist excuse of a man says. Like somebody said, the man can't even brush his hair. How can he do anything? We set a bad precedent if government can bully people out of their businesses. Like I said, I'd be for it because it's Stan Kroenke, but it sets a bad precedent. Sorry, that's just what I believe, man. Bro, bare people, Eden would be sad, man. Bare people. I'm sad. You're sad. Everybody's sad. Arsenal fans, young and old. You know, probably Arsenal fans probably turning in their grave, unfortunately. You know, it's upsetting, man. Man said, so Kroenke out, fine, but is there an owner with money who loves the club and has our interest in heart? Nope. Government intervention is the only way. I would love that. And at the same time, you're never going to find an ethical owner. But as long as, you know, I don't really care if an owner wants to make money, you know. If you want to care about money, that's cool. Just care about the football club. I'm sure there's people who care more than others because you look at a lot of what the other football clubs are doing, man. You know, and this is where I have a problem, Eddie. When I see Gary Neville, you know, Gary Lineker, you know, Sky Cavell saying it's a win for the good guys. What good guys? Because it just means you lot are not losing any TV rights and you're not losing your jobs. What do you mean for the good guys? And you lot keep your own monopoly and your Rupert Murdoch mafia thing going on. It's not making sense, man. You know, it's not making sense. I'm not sure, man. I'm not sure. I think it is a when, but when could be tomorrow. It could be 3 years. What I said is, fans, it's gonna be a fight, and we can never ever forget it, man. We can never ever let slip. Can never ever let slip, man. The fans need control at this point. We are the only people who seem to want good for our clubs, bro. Facts, man. You know, we're all talking about the 50+1 rule or whatever it is in Germany. You know, we've all been through it, man. The thing is, Franklin, you've got to, you know, to be fair with you, if he's offered man's peas like Usmanov, if he's offered it to Kroenke hasn't sold. No one can sadly, no one could, not really sadly, because no one advocates this, but you can't put a gun to his head and force him to sell it, you know. This is the problem. And that's where I feel the people that were previously on this board and owned shares, they've really got to look at fans fighting for their club now and really feel a really sense of shame because, like I said, He got his clause in relation to a full ownership in 2018. He didn't do that by himself. He didn't bully no one to sell. You know, it is what it is, man. This is it. Stay united. Stay vocal. Exactly. Early doors. Very early doors, man. I'm not too sure if they'll be designed if football clubs will be classed as national treasures. I think that's a bit naive, but I'm all for it. Anything that protects the fans and better yet the integrity of the game, I'm all for it. You know, I'm all for it. But again, like I said, you know, Stan Kroenke's probably seeing this as all blowing over. You see, how many times have we seen on Sky Sports in that first Arsenal team to do this and that? So again, he like I said, you've got to know your enemy. This is going to be a big fight. And I just feel this is a tipping of the iceberg. This is scratching the surface, but it's a start. It's a start, fans. So let's keep going, man. You know, I don't agree with that, blocking the buses and delaying the games. But like I said, these are necessary evils which probably will happen and whatnot. Mikel doesn't need it. Arteta doesn't need it. Fans don't need it because when they're blocking buses and things, they're actually risking their own health. And obviously, as I said, it's only really affecting the players. It will affect Kroenke, but he's watching it from his TV. He can turn the TV off. Them man there still have to play a game, you know. So it's a necessary evil, like I said. It's a very necessary evil. But like I said, keep the noise. Whether you're going to it doesn't mean you're less of an Arsenal fan or less or more of the fight if you go to this protest or if you don't. If you can't go to the protest for whatever reason, you know, make sure you're keeping the name going. Make sure you're drawing awareness and things, man. Does he? I swear he leaves in the end of 2021. You know, so we'll have to see what happens in that regards, people. But these lot lack integrity, man. They lack integrity. They really do. They really, really do. Let me timestamp business. Vinay apparently has had something to say as well, people. We're going to get into this in a second. Right in a sec. But what we said there, does Kroenke even know when Arsenal was made? Probably not. You don't halt the offensive when the enemy's retreating. You keep pushing and press the advantage. Reform FIFA and UEFA. You know, they're not all interlapped, but this is a start, my guy, 100%. But you're right. We need to keep going because FIFA are talking about integrity of the game. But what's happening to migrant workers over there in Qatar? You know? There's no integrity. There's no honor among thieves. These lot are all liars. Can't trust any of them, any of these organizations, my guy. Any of them, people. Carrying on, though, people. Like I said, you know, Vinay, and like I said, whether you rate Vinay or not, like him or not, again, I don't really have much time for him. At one half, it is his job, and he was doing, you know, he's just simply doing the bidding of the owner. At the second hand, you always have a choice. But this is what I mean about Kroenke. You know, he's left Arteta and the players out to dry. He's left Vinay out to dry and deal with the fallout, not only the timing of the announcement, but the apologies. And actually now he's kept the players in the dark. And obviously tomorrow, Arteta's got his press conference. So there's a lot of issues in that regards, people. Vinay addressed the Gunners players and manager Mikel Arteta at the meeting at London Coley on Wednesday morning. Now, there was a lot of rumours that there was actually no meetings. Players were still in the dark and things like that, which further tells you where we're at as a club and what we think of how we treat our own, really. But apparently, Vinay has apologized to the whole first team squad over the European Super League fiasco. Apparently, Mikel Arteta and Venkasham addressed all of the players at Arsenal's London Coley training ground on Wednesday morning. First things first, why is Vinay saying sorry? Why is the owner of this football club not saying sorry? Where's the leadership? Where's the integrity? But we already know where that is. Apparently, on the back of the club issuing a full apology to the supporters after the collapse of the Super League, the hierarchy have now explained the club's position to players and coaching staff. It's understood Vinay spoke to the whole group, explained the reasoning behind it, but apologized fully for putting them through the mess of the last 48 hours. And they really must be questioning your integrity based on how you tried to bully them into taking wage cuts, how you didn't defend certain players because of things that were happening and things like this. You know, it's quite depressing and it's quite upsetting how you lot carry on. Very smart businessmen, very shameful actual human beings. Arsenal's players listened intently and did have questions, especially around why there'd not be any consultation. But all of the clubs were bound by confidentiality because of the legal complexities of the breakaway group. Again, you could always notify people in some way, people. So again, I don't think it's on Vinay to say sorry. I don't think it's on the players or Arteta to adjust to address fans and address everyone in relation to this. People apparently it went on to say they spoke at the gym basically due to COVID problems. We all know Hector Bellerin was selected as being one of the captains to speak, but that meeting between Premier League captains is gone. We all know Hector Bellerin apparently said something on Twitter and whatnot, and as shout out to Bellerin, he's never been afraid to talk about things, and that's why I have an admiration for him with that. But that's where we're at in that, people, really and truly, man. It's just a shameful excuse of a football club now, really. So yeah, what else are you saying? I don't know if I'm preaching, my guy. This is just they're just tears from the heart, man. Really and truly, my heart bleeds for this football club. It bleeds for the fans, man. He does have to go down. He is the captain, but same way, he's just a pawn in this thing. He's just a pawn. The Super League was Kroenke's idea. Boy, we are in the ish. Kroenke out has to be soon, very soon. Hopefully, man. I wouldn't say it's all one man, but it all comes back to one man and they're all doing his bidding. So 100% you're right on that, man. Make sure you're hitting the like button, people. Make sure you're hitting that like button. We're 114 likes. I appreciate that, people. So yeah, less said about Standard better, man. James has said it makes you wonder who was advising them to join the Super League. Obviously, probably Vinay, probably the fancy accountants, probably the clubs consulting between themselves and the cash boys and whatnot. No fans wanted to join it. They thought they could make it fly, man. Jake, no real clue about Dangote and his morals, really and truly, but he seems, for what I can see as a fan at face value, to just give a crap about a football team a bit more. So give him the club, really. Anyone that, surely anyone's better than Kroenke now. As Arsenal fans, we know that saying way too well. Be careful what you wish for and those sort of things there, people. So we might have to think twice about that. But if you didn't know already, in case you don't know, Arsenal fans plan Stan Kroenke protest before Everton clash after European Super League diabolical. Pardon me, debacle. Apologies. Arsenal are braced for a fan protest ahead of their match against Everton. As you lot know, people, Arsenal, along with 11 other sides, had agreed to join the new breakaway league. Scrolling down, fans had already been planning to protest the Super League ahead of Friday's game against Everton, just as Chelsea supporters did before the game against Brighton. It's gone on to say, however, the protest at the Emirates is now expected to center around fan discontent with Kroenke and his running of the club. Several supporters groups have made their feelings known on social media, as has Ian Wright, people. The AST has said Stan Kroenke is 100% the owner of the football club. He is the board, yet he can't even own the apology. Shameless, not fit to own the football, not fit to own Arsenal. Kroenke out. Can't add a damn thing onto that, people. And obviously there's legal terms and whatnot around this, folks. But if you was to look at here, you can already begin to see the fallout. Apparently the English Big Six have already lost 8 million each after the European Super League was killed off in days, and they could still face huge financial punishments for breaking their contracts. So serves you damn right, all of you lot. Super League clubs brought equity stakes for 8 million to support development. As you lot know, the Rebels signed their things. Let's see what's going on. The 12 founding members who announced the venture on Sunday evening purchased equity stakes of around 8 million each in the Super League, which its creators ultimately hope to turn into a global competition that would dominate club football. It emerged yesterday that the English clubs could face financial penalties for pulling out, as the ESL contract signed last week contains clauses committing them for at least 3 years. Lawyers say the contracts will have been structured to encourage clubs to stick with the controversial project in the face of expected protests by imposing large penalties. But in the end, as you lot know, they're not going to read that all out. Everybody said no. And apparently, let's go on, people. Apparently, well, it's mainly gone on to say Perez and Woodward were the primary drivers behind such. And as you lot know, people, there was a prospect of setting up a similar invitation-only Super League in South America, Asia, and Africa. And you could already see how these little things, South America, Africa, Asia, the biggest teams in there, it starts becoming versus the Prem and things and all of these sort of things. And, those sort of people, the two biggest teams in South America, they'll have that game in Europe, North London Derby played in Rio de Janeiro, And again, these are not bad things. These bring the games all over for international people and things like that. But the way they're doing it is absolutely appalling, people. So yeah, to know that potentially these clubs will suffer in terms of legal fees and things, I welcome it, really. Apparently it remains unclear how much has been spent and if any of it will be returned now. The ESL's collapsed less than 3 days after its launch, which, is the shortest in history. Shout out to Jose Mourinho for being the manager of one of the clubs at the time to get the sack, which was confirmed this morning when Juventus chairman Agnelli, said that the competition could not proceed without the 6 Premier League clubs. So again, there's egg on the face of him, John Henry, and just about everybody connected with this club, people. Apparently, the Premier League's Big Six could also be forced to pay compensation to the 6 other European founding clubs for breaking a clause in the 23-year-old contract, which stated they could not leave for the first 3 years. I think the clubs taking part in the Super League have put themselves in a position where it's not easy to get out or step back. The Super League knew there would be a lot of pressure on clubs to get out, so I assume there was a strong obligation on the clubs not to get out of it. Boy. So yeah, I'm sure many people are sick to seeing those faces as well, people. So yeah, we've spoken about that. Obviously, shout out to Aubameyang. But before we get into that, as somebody has said, big up Ben, Super League is over and football goes back to sticking its head in the sand. Exactly. Still massive corruption at FIFA. Still toothless FFP. Fans are still given minimal tickets for finals. Again, the devil we know is not a good. The devil is not a good one. We need to get him out of it. We need to get everything out. We need real change. We got to start with one, but we need to keep moving, people. And obviously, Aubameyang's had a lot to say on his socials. And like he said, you be as emotional as you want, Captain Aubameyang. You're allowed to. Fans always say, it's always funny how fans tell footballers to shut up and just stick to football, like they're not part of this society, like they don't typically contribute more to this economy and more to whatnot than many people. So let's stop the crap. But Aubameyang said it's been an emotional few days, but only the right decisions has been made tonight and for the fans and for football. And even more important in the case of George Floyd. And again, that's the one thing I care about more than this case, George Floyd. And it's quite sad that we're talking about this. We're talking about football more than we should be talking about that. And I think it's quite ironic because I wish the same energy was here over racism, Nobody wants to say, oh, well, can't you just shut up about it and not make it race? But everyone's got energy for these owners. Let's see what's going on. And I think this would have been the perfect time. This is why, as much as I care, to the point, how much do I care when I think about people losing their lives for their skin color, man? It's crazy. And like I said, man, we can't worry. UEFA are still doing their thing. So we need to get rid of them as well. It's not going to get better anytime soon. We're in for the long haul, people. It's going to be a massive one. It's going to be a tough one. Make sure you're hitting the like button, people. 137 likes. I appreciate that. Trust. I mean, it doesn't matter how much. I know his family's rich, but it doesn't matter how rich you are. Nobody likes to hurt pride. Is what it is. He might be the right man. He might not be the right man. I don't know him. I don't really get it. So I just know I will deal with. I don't know who should be the right man in it. But one thing I know is the man that owns this club is not the right man. You're an Arsenal fan, but I have so much respect for you, DG. Come on, man. Be a bit nicer to us Arsenal fans, but love for that, man. Wait, a rich owner who cares? Come on, man. Like, it don't matter how much money you got if you don't want to spend on the club or properly. In my opinion, anyways. This just shows you that all these men are full of ish. For example, they want to paint a pretty picture for say no to racism, but then do dirty ish behind doors. They've been blindfolding the fans. Facts. Fans have to own the club, but it's a pipe dream. Kroenke out, sell Arsenal, RIP Mr. Floyd. Getting rid of a figurehead and expecting change is like painting a Skoda and expecting it to run like a Ferrari. The problem is deeper than KSC. It's structural. But then the KSC is the structure of this football club and has been it. So you get rid of them. We're not hardly going to turn into a European heavyweight overnight, but it's a start, It's a start. It doesn't matter what Emre, what Arteta wanted to install, what Raul Sanye, what Mislintat. If the man at the collective it doesn't want to be a winner, it will trickle down. If he wants to be a winner, you get it. So it is what it is, man. Trust me. That's why, to a degree, somewhat don't care, man. Probably are. We already knew there was out. Aubameyang's coming back from malaria. Lacazette's mashed up his hamstring. So again, we'll speak about that one there tomorrow. But make sure you're at the Arsenal versus Everton preview from 11:30 a.m. people, man. So yeah, there you have information for the protest on Friday. just ahead of the game. The whole of football needs to reset if it wants to develop further. You can't have a monopoly of the UEFA in Europe, or Africa and Asia don't have infrastructure, and Kevin De Bruyne on 400k a week. Green Bay Packers, only NFL team owned by the fans and very comparable to Arsenal, founding club, good tradition, does things the right way, but they always have issues. Grass is always greener. We need to force UEFA, FIFA and the FA to change now. Bro, nobody said it's a magic wand, but literally that's the one rounding factor. You know, if Kroenke leaves tomorrow, we still got to get rid of hella players. We still need to bring people in. We still need to get the necessarily scouts, but it somewhat is a magic wand because from you're allowed to change the mentality. That's the only overriding thing. While I agree, you know, what more is that? You know, they're out in that. This is in Arsenal's case. You know, I don't think there should be a salary cap personally. That's just me because, again, salary cap where you're seeing these players. Imagine if there was a salary cap where the Arsenal's are allowed to earn 3.4 billion. And many people that ask for a salary cap, if you would be fair enough, but do you want your earnings in your own field to be capped? You know, you could say footballers earn a lot of money. They do. The demand's there. You know, it's as simple as that. I don't think there should be wage cuts. Definitely when you've got the clubs doing things like this. But is what it is. I do agree there's hell of equality. And, you know, the long-term effects of colonialism and all of those sort of things are reflected in football and have been reflected in football, man. They won't have the same energy, Michael, because racism, there's no money in racism. There's no money in racism, my bro. Which is upsetting, man. This is it, man. Facts, man. Cold-hearted facts from everybody, man. Some interesting points, man. It's like all the fans woke up from a slumber, awakened by the decay of football, which has allowed the ESL to be a concept. Okay. Interesting comments from everybody, man. And this is what I love. Please make sure you're hitting that like button, people. Mourinho took a bullet. Mourinho lost his job at Spurs because he was poor. Unconfirmed and unofficial reports were that he lost the job because of obviously this. It came across as nonsense, man. As an American, I can say you don't want a salary cap in our major league baseball league. There is no salary cap. You look tired, DG. Aren't you tired of Stan Kroenke? You know, aren't you tired as well? Come on, man. There's no sorries. There's sorry I got caught. Sorry, you know, because imagine wrong is wrong. Let's just say that this thing was wrong, but fans condoned it. Fans were happy for it. You know, the energy would be different. Says it all, man. It says it all, people. It's absolutely appalling, man. It's shameful. It's upsetting more than anything, if I'm completely honest with you, people. But we move, man. You know, hopefully we're going to make a change. Do see a change coming. I know you'd be tired of the Glazers. We're all tired of these people who, you know, harvest fans' love for the game and do them dirty, man. Like, who isn't? You know, is there any other Arsenal news? Let's see if there's anything else affecting Arsenal in today's day and age, man. It's when you'd like some transfer news or something, man. The only amazing thing is that there's been an Aubameyang Twitter U-turn after deactivating his comments, people. Apparently, he was criticized for seemed to criticize the platform for no longer talking about COVID or online abuse or racism. Apparently, Aubameyang said, I ain't missed you, Twitter, so we are not allowed to talk about anything, only football and Super League. No more talking about COVID or online abuse or racism. Nice. Even sick without the phone, I was feeling better than with the phone. Let me turn it off. See you. Cold-hearted facts. And I mean, no one is even backing Thierry Henry with his social media blanket ban, and things like that. We've been linked with Julian Draxler, but can't even be bothered with that, you know. There's a couple things here still, people. Look at this. Might as well talk about this. Obviously, Kanu is going to say this. Apparently, Kanu is angry at Unai Emery for selling Alexander Iwobi. Now, I'm not, because Iwobi's Iwobi and Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain are them rare bunch of players that haven't kicked on since they've left Arsenal at a day and age where everybody seemed to be. So I'm not too sure. I think we committed, I like Iwobi, but we committed daylight robbery at a time where we ain't sold many players for much peas. So I can't criticize this. But obviously, Kanu, for whatever reason, feels some sort of way. And Kanu has said, Kanu insists he was surprised former Arsenal manager Unai Emery sold Alex Iwobi to Everton and says the Gunners would be a better team if he was still at the Emirates. I'm not too sure about it, that specifically. 30 million for Iwobi. I almost cannot believe what I am personally seeing. Once again, I don't really think we quite miss Iwobi, really. Let me go to what he said. He said, I was surprised they let Iwobi go when they did. He was supposed to be part of this team, and I think they'd be a better team with him in it. He's Arsenal blood, and he's always given his all for the team. I mean, you should always give your all for the team. And yeah, he came through the academy, but yeah, he plays at international level. That's cool. You should be playing at international level if you play for Arsenal in an ideal world. I believe he's much more comfortable in this Arsenal team than he is in Everton, and I've seen him play 10 at Everton, wing back. I don't know. I just have to ask a reason. There has to be a reason you're now playing under another manager in another environment, and you haven't kicked on, because many people said, you know what, maybe if he actually left Arsenal, he'd find it easier. I just don't think Iwobi's decision-making has improved. I like him. I don't think he's shown better consistency. He's in this position for him, people. Shout out to Iwobi. 4 goals in 62 games for Everton. Hardly missing him. 15 goals for Arsenal in 149 appearances. Kanu, this is what happens. I love Iwobi, but he's come through the academy, became an FA Cup winner. He made 100-odd appearances. We sold him for 30 mil. And in that time, he's also become an international player, like you said. And he's gone off to Everton. Some people can't, it is what it is. There has been sometimes we've lacked balance in our front three and stuff. And naturally, you could say we'd like Iwobi. Iwobi's from Hayland, so I'll always want to keep him. But come on now, 30 million for Iwobi. Come on. 30 million fell out the sky for Alexander Iwobi. Come on now, let's be serious. Out of the many things you can criticize Emery for, I wouldn't criticize him for that, people. It is what it is. It's quite sad, really. Did they mean Kanu here or did they mean Kane? But let's see, people. Yeah, he criticized selling the Iwobi, which I'm not too sure that's a good thing. I mean, and now you've got, I'm sure this will rise people up the right way. Willian's planning Arsenal trophy success as he reveals a desire to play in America, people. He thought one last holiday in England would do, get my little pay packet. Apparently, Willian is intent on winning trophies at Arsenal and wants to play at next year's World Cup with Brazil, people. Make of that what you will. As you lot know, he has struggled. He said, well, my plan is to stay at Arsenal. I have a contract here and to win trophies. I have 2 more years here. You could cut it in the summer if you want. But my plan is to stay and to be successful and to win something with the club. I still want to achieve a lot of things. I want to win more trophies and I want to be at the next World Cup. I will do my best to be there. But yes, I want to lift trophies for Arsenal. I have a lot of things in my mind I want to achieve. I want to win as much as I can with the team and go back to the national team as well. You're not going to get in the national team without scoring, really, Willian, but it's what it is. Still going for your touching on probably not getting an Arsenal goal for this whole season, really. Only a couple of games left. He said, after that, whenever I have finished here, I will really want to go to America and play there. Possibly stay in Europe, I don't know. But at the moment, one of my targets is to play in America at some point in my career. I want to become an agent. I'm preparing myself for that profession. I've already started working on that. I didn't know that with Willian. So he wants to be an agent. Are you building up the links with Eddie already? He said, I want to go into that job because I love football and I want to stay in sport. I want to do the job in that area, but I don't want to become a manager or a coach. I want to be slightly more outside, but still involved in football. And that's very interesting for William because he's been given not too long ago, he signed a new deal with Puma. So it must be interesting to see that. So that's William's ambitions for the future. You can start them at the end of the season if you want. But yeah, we already know Arsenal staff, so they weren't impressed with what we've been doing. Shout out to Ian Wright because him getting behind it, he's no bigger or smaller than any other Arsenal fans saying such. But there's also that in regards, people. Please make sure you're hitting the likes. There's 260 of you locked in. 163 likes. That is calm. What else are you guys saying? So it's a slow day, people. And apparently Balogun's actually officially signed his 3-year deal, 3-year extension or whatever at Arsenal. And we're still waiting on official confirmation. Will Arsenal bring it out now to kind of go away from this or not? Listen, I've said that, this is a family heirloom. You've seen how profitable Arsenal have been. Why would they let it go? I think it's going to be given to Josh, if it stays like this, which is upsetting, man. Boy, can we even win that? Not too sure about that, but fair play. Well, we had this time. It's good that he can move on and grow. Facts. To be fair, we might need that, man. Excellent, strong. He hasn't kicked on, bro. Like, is he still a midfield? Is he a centre mid, a winger, a right back? Like, is he any closer to playing for England? I know he's been injured, but even when fit, I think it's pretty telling that allegedly he's allowed to be. He's on offer at Liverpool. He hasn't kicked on, and I love Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. You know, the move's backed up. He's won the Champions League in the Prem, but he's not important there. He ain't done nothing. Like, he's not going to the Euros unless a madness happens. He's not kicked on. It's a fact. He hasn't kicked on. You know, what has he done at Liverpool? He's had little stages, but what's he done? I don't think it will. I think that's Adnan. I think that's quite short-sighted. I don't think a salary cap would allow it to develop, because specifically how salary cap to them, but with the riches of the game, I'm not too sure. You know, and that's assuming that this salary caps correlates it, because you're asking the clubs to put that into some sort of fund. Don't think it's going to quite be as simple as that, man. Very hard hitting, man. Rare bit of good business, man. The project we now all know is a sham. Arteta has to be brought in on this idea. I hope he asks the questions on where Arsenal are going from now on. He's going to give the status quo answers, really. He ain't going to say anything different, in my opinion, because his hands, you can always make a decision, but his hands are probably somewhat tied, man. No, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I don't think Josh cares. I'm sorry. It's his last name. His last name goes against him, man. Like, it is what it is. Like, I'm sorry. I don't care. You might have the most great ideas. Go and show it somewhere else. I do not care. You're paying for the sins of your father. No one deserves that. But that name, you gotta go. You all gotta go. I listen. I would love to be proven wrong. I would love him to take the club off daddy, and for it to be a Disney Channel movie where he defines his dad, and actually start spending money, and Arsenal do the Mighty Ducks thing. We win the league. Who wouldn't want that? But I can't believe it. Man are telling me be excited, and I'm seeing this. And I'm sure he's a good guy, but you're not a football man. So get out the club. Come out the club, man. Come out the club. It's as simple as that. Agent Willian might be useful after all. Trust me, my guy. You never know. You never know. You never know, man. Trust me. I'll leave that to you, Adnan. I'm gonna all right, cool. I'll disagree. I respectfully disagree. I'm gonna leave you to it, man. The cranks have shown their true colors. It might have bought Arteta more time taking the heat out of his situation slightly. Bro, unless it's a Mighty Ducks thing, it's a myth. It's a myth, man. It's a myth. Bro, or Adnan, you can use, people can get as much money as they deserve, that their talent can take, with also allocating funds to develop the game. It doesn't necessarily have to be either or, but fair play, man. If I could buy the club, why not, man? Why not? Appreciate all the JA tugs locked in, man. It's very depressing, man. It's very depressing. It's very facts, bro. Facts, and more facts, man. Have you seen the news about the new Champions League? More clubs involved in a new league format type comp instead of group stages. And that's the same, like I said, UEFA and these super leagues, it was birds of the same feather. Everybody's just mad that they're not making as much money as they believe they can. They don't care. Nobody's doing this from any moral point of view. Even these pundits, they just want to be seen saying the right thing. A lot of these pundits, these things have been there. Why are they only saying it now? Is it because they don't want to work with the clubs anymore? I'm loving seeing club legends at our club speak out, but why is it only now? Why is it only now? Is it enough now? We've seen that. Okay, cool. Maybe the YouTube things with the youngsters, I'm prepared to put it on the side. I have to answer, man. And even them coefficient things, I don't know if it's true, but I see something like, depending on how United's thing is set up, in a world where if it came into getting top four, technically West Ham could finish in the top four place, United behind them, and they could jump in, or is it fifth or sixth or something? But either way, it's another way of it being exploited, man. CJ, you might just have to use Google, you know, bro. Just out of principle. We need Kroenke balloon to fly over the Emirates like they did with the Trump balloon. Facts. BS, my guy. Random guy. That's all I can say. I'm not a fan of the CL format, and it's just like I just said, it's more of the same. Absolute more of the same. It's quite upsetting people, really, but it is what it is. I'm so glad we finally see that the Kroenkes are frauds. Every year we have flopped. The common denominator has been Stan and his son. Arteta and the players are the least of our worries. In the grand scheme of things, I agree that, you know, you get rid of them, then we can just get to a level where we can focus on the players, man. You know, 100% agree with it on that logic. You know, these lot are just puppets. Like I said, like you said, in fact, you know, we've had different players, different managers, different sporting guys. The one common denominator has been the man that owns it. So the rest is dead, man. You know, the rest is dead. You get him out, then maybe, you know, we could see what could happen. Facts, man. Facts. Trust, it would have been a Mickey Mouse league, man. Bro, even if we win that European trophy, you know, even if we win that European trophy, energy, you know, we'll be happy, euphoric that our team did it and all those sort of things. But still, you know, we've got to apply pressure. That's the only thing in every moment. Even if this club, we can never do it. If this club won the Champions League next year, assuming we somehow qualify, energy has to be kept the same. We can never let up, because they'll go back into a false sense of security and think we condone this. We've seen these Premier League clubs will push fans to the limit and make you accept everything, people, and those sort of things there. We'll circle back on this, obviously, tomorrow, people, in the preview for Arsenal versus Everton. Please make sure you're there live on my channel from 11:30. This video at the end will redirect you there. Please hit the like button on that as well. As you lot can see, we already know with Lacazette's injury and with Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang's malaria case. But as you lot know, Lacazette and Aubameyang are out of the Everton game. For me, it's Martinelli up front. But again, we'll speak about it tomorrow. But Balogun might have to drop in one now that he signed his new deal. You know, Martinelli, you know, I think Arteta probably will go with Eddie and Nketiah, because that's probably the safest choice. But we'll speak about that then. But apparently Arsenal will be without Alexandre Lacazette and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang for Friday's clash with Everton. Both are unfit and both are unable to take part in the game. We all know Lacazette is suffering a hamstring knock, people. He'll continue to work with Arsenal's medical team, and he'll be assessed ahead of next week's Europa semi-final, people. First leg against Villarreal. So that's good. You know, that's positive news, because I thought he'd be out for longer than that. But again, to be assessed, we don't know where that is. Aubameyang is definitely out. Now, once again, we knew these things happen in our season. We're going to have to deal with it, people. You know, we're going to have to deal with it. Luiz is back in light training. Odegaard still remains a doubt, but he's back in light training. Tierney's making positive progress, and he's hoping to be back in training within the next 2 to 3 weeks. You know, Luiz is hoping to integrate back with the squad within the next week. So again, just because these are people's health, then I'm all for it, people. I can't go against it, really. So yeah, man, how can you deny that, really and truly? You know, but that's that. We're going to have to do without them. Villarreal could beat us bad. The season would really feel empty then. Martinelli or Balogun up top, please. Eddie's not good enough. Please, no, Eddie, that's a bit harsh. I just said I think Arteta going for him, man. Eddie, the safe option for me. That's the choice of a manager looking for the sack. Fair play, but with safe option, Balogun hasn't got a start. You know, Balogun definitely should have been in the squad against Fulham. Definitely in what's left of our game in the Europa League, or our time in the Premier League. You can give these young players chances and things. You know, for me, kind of on that, use this to give Martinelli some real experience consistently through the middle, because he's gonna have teething problems. It's not gonna be plain sailing for him. Just developing anyways. You know. I wouldn't even mind Eddie. It's not my first choice, but, you know, I think Eddie's hard done by. We know he's not levels and things like that, but I just feel he gets a lot of hate. I think that's the safest choice, purely because he's been the one coming off the bench in the last few games. You know, Arteta always speaks about how he's, you know, he feels sad for leaving him out. Let's remember our point, Eddie and Nketiah was keeping or Lacazette or one of the other out of the team for whatever reason last year. So I do think he might go for that. For me, it's Martinelli first. I would be of the you know, for me, like I said, we'll speak about this tomorrow, but Martinelli first, Martinelli first, then give Balogun experience, and then Eddie. But I think he will lean on Eddie tomorrow. So that's just what I feel, man. To be fair, Miguel Aziz was on fire against Chelsea, boy, yesterday, boy. Great game. And a great goal from Marcelo Flores. You know, I know, don't forget, I've been a bit behind people. You will get your under 18s FA Cup review, FA Youth Cup review, and you will get the Spurs one. I mean, the Chelsea game. Just allow me. It's been a mad week, people, and you still get your loan report. This project to put Martinelli up top, Eddie looks isolated in our system. I would just say he looks limited in that system, bro. He's just not levels. Since Kroenke came to Arsenal, the club went downhill. The only thing that got better is his wallet. Facts. Kroenke's self-sustaining model has proven to be unsustainable for Arsenal, so Gooners need to stop financing Kroenke. In principle, the wickedest thing, I don't condone what Kroenke is doing, but I don't really, if it wasn't him, the actual premises we're trying to operate under, or the illusion we're told, it's not a bad thing. It's just the fact that he's not a footballing man. He's extremely complacent and he doesn't care. I actually agree with being self-sustaining, but my form of self-sustaining is not what we're doing, you know. It's more a self-serving model better than a self-sustaining one, because it only looks to benefit Kroenke. He's the only one that's probably, and it makes me sick to say, connected with Arsenal, that could have any positive things to say about this football club consistently, man. You know, to be fair, it doesn't matter if you're a tapping guy. If you score some tappings like he did against Fulham, it kind of saved our bacon a tiny bit. Eddie came up as the best finisher at Hayland, but I feel like lately, if anything, they've been developing him into a cam. Anyone know why? I know he hasn't played 10 with the first team, but he has for the 23s. I'm not too sure about that, but fair play if that's what you think you've seen. Do you think Leno is the man? Long term, no. Short to medium, I think you can use him. But if the team was where we've needed it to be, then you might look at it. I'd rather have Sanogo than Eddie. I think that's a bit emotional, but fair play. Time for Eddie / Balogun to shine. Trying to feel Bamford's whole speech. BS, isn't he from the English equivalent of the Kroenke family? I don't know what you mean by that. And I don't know for Bamford, but you know, I did have admiration for Bamford speaking. So yeah, man, it is what it is in that regards. What do you think of Ryan? Matt Ryan? I think he's a decent second choice, really and truly. So why not grab him, man? The only thing, you know, Martinelli, the only thing, if Martinelli, Balogun already play up front, we've got to change the way we're playing, because they, you know, them two centre halves that they've got are monsters, you know, but they do have a problem with movement, like Michael Keane has shown you against Spurs. Martinelli's movement is elite. Balogun's is as well. More so Martinelli, I'm saying, play him. Pardon me, I ain't got no time for anything John Barnes says, David, with respect. Do not care. Do not care. Should Arsenal invest in players rather than a stadium like the other clubs? Not sure what you mean there, but we do need better players. Facts, that's 100%. That's 100%. So yeah, man, we used to create a lot under Wenger when we had Alexis and Cazorla. Fair play. Just answered that question in relation to Balogun, Martinelli, or Nketiah, my bro. I'm sure you've heard that. Fair play. Nonetheless, please make sure you're hitting that like button, people. Please make sure you're hitting that like button. We're at 221 likes. That's great, people. Really, let's keep that going. Let's try to get that to 300. We don't create enough chances. That's why Aubameyang's not really been able to just stat pad goals this season, really and truly. Where would you invest? Hey, just be easy with the oi thing, you know. Be easy with that. But I'd invest in the obvious you can see at Arsenal. Who are the players you think Arsenal should build the team around consistently, whether you're talking about 11 or the squad? For me, if I was Arsenal manager or had a say in the club, then, you know, Martinelli goes without saying, Saka goes without saying, Smith Rowe the same, Tierney the same, you know, Partey the same, Gabriel the same, you know, Pepe, not quite build it around Pepe, but you'd be in my thinking, if that makes sense. You know, and there's a couple other players, you know, if Leno plays like he did last year, if Aubameyang starts scoring goals, then you can get away with this, man. Now Arsenal have missed out on Super League money. What will Kroenke provide in the summer? Could be a long ride in mid-table. Will be a long ride in mid-table. And I'm at the point where Arsenal need to show me something, man. get Eddie to a Prem club on loan. He'd have to sign a new deal. Yeah, I don't mind him signing a new deal, going out on loan, and then seeing what he is a year from now. We might be able to make some money from him. And like you said, if Brewster can go for that, then Eddie must be. But what Brewster has that Eddie doesn't, Eddie doesn't have a catalogue of goals. It didn't work out for him in Leeds for whatever reason. It worked out for Brewster somewhat, that little loan at Swansea. Do we need a high volume player like Bruno? Why not? To a degree, man. Why not, man? Besides Haaland, which Dortmund player would you bring to Arsenal? Makoko, Reina, Sancho, sorry. Who else is there? The usual suspects, man. Oh, Saliba as well. To my further question about building things around, throw Saliba in there. So it is what it is. No, I'm playing, man. Robert, yes, I'm playing, man. I know what it is. I'm playing with you, man. Don't take any offense. They're all of priority. If you're asking me, I think, bro, sorry. I knew I was missing one. Bellingham. How can I miss Jude Bellingham? I like that guy. That's the winger, in it. I'm just learning about him now. I swear he got a couple minutes against City. He plays left wing and he likes to cut in and that. So yeah. Robert, you said left back. You're kind of pressing me for the positions. For me, central midfield, because the midfield contributes to our defense. It contributes to our attack. If we somewhat lock down our midfield and improve it, I don't think we'll be the finished article, but there will be a better improvement if there's better quality options. And I say this because who in our midfield is levels? I love Partey, and I'm just going to use Partey as an example. Partey right now, as great as he's been, we ain't seen everything from him. There's still question marks over his fitness. He might not. And again, if he's not there on the best of days, what happens? There's not a levels partner for him. Xhaka is the best we can do right now, and he can be a squad player, but it's not levels. Ceballos and El Nene is banter. El Nene and Xhaka is banter. Partey and El Nene, you can do a United thing sometimes, but it's not going to offer much. We need better options. In an ideal world, I'd love two midfielders, my bro, but one pure centre mid at 8. Maybe I'm reaching, but I'd like a 10. I do think we need a backup left back, someone that's levels or can fight Tierney for that spot. It goes without saying. Right back, right back and centre mid are the two key priorities for me. Personally, I want a centre half. As you see with Gabriel, there's no one there to hold his hands if David Luiz isn't there. We will not see Marie and Gabriel together, at least for this season. Marie and Saliba, I think, will be a partnership next season, but I think we need that bridge player because we want it to be Gabriel and Saliba long term. But like I said, there's going to be games where, as you've seen, Gabriel's going to do some mad stuff, as I've been saying from the start of the season. Saliba's going to do some mad stuff. We need that bridge player that can hold their hands, and that bridge player might not be perfect. It don't have to be £50 million player. It can be a little youth one, man. I rate Monluis. I would love him to get opportunities. Monluis, Patino, Flores, Brook, Amari Hutchinson, Hubert, Berardi, Zach, Zayn Monluis, Kion Edwards. I'd love all them under 18s. If I haven't said them, how I feel on them. I'd love them all too, man. Have you seen Tottenham protesting? Awful. I can't lie, bro. Listen. All of it is good, in it. Big up Spurs. It's the best thing ever. There's a thing I'll give them. That protest, one of the best things ever, man. I wouldn't mind Milinkovic-Savic, but he's going to cost a pretty penny. Which do Arsenal have that pretty penny? You lot could be able to tell me, man. To be fair with you, I'm taking 20 million on Eddie still. If that's given, 20 million on Eddie and a sell-on clause, I can't lie to you lot, people. I'm listening to it still. No cap, I'm listening to it. But you see with Eddie, all options are on the table for me. The only option that I don't want to see, him with a year left on his deal, and we're sitting here like we're doing to a degree with Chambers, like we're doing with Laka. Like, I think we need to have a conversation to a degree about Leno, about Xhaka. They've got 2 years or so left on their deals. Even Bellerin, they're meant to be key players of this squad, whether you rate them or not. I don't want to see another year, because every bad game we should have sold him. Every good game, bad boy, I would have taken that personally. But like I said, all options for me with Eddie are on the table. I'm on selling him. Like I said, 20 million that and a sell-on clause. He might turn into a household Premier League name or sorts, or a striker, Not everybody needs to go and be Harry Kane from the academy. With respect, some man can be a Josh King, apart from when Bournemouth went down. What I mean by he's just in the Premier League, and that's cool. We make a buck off that. Part of me feels, and actually wants to sell Eddie, but part of me feels, new deal, because he's still only 21, loan for a couple of years. Let's see where you're at. You might develop, and we might still have selling you in mind, But selling you for 20 million, and I might be reaching, but selling you in 18 months for 40 million is two different things. If Eddie goes on loan and has a half decent season, well, all right. It's like Joe Willock. I think Joe Willock is coming back next season. And again, for me, all options with him are on the table. But let's just say Arsenal were to sell him because he's playing and Newcastle want him. I don't know. Last season, you might have only got 10, 15. Now you can grab a 20 for Joe. I don't know. But this is what I'm saying, people. Make sure you're all hitting the like button. Would love Basuma, Shawnee, big money. Would love Buendia, big money. And you're really going to, because, you know, if Norwich didn't get out the championship, our case would be stronger. They might be saying to Buendia, they might have said to him in January, help us get in the Prem and you can bust out. Or they might say, why do you want to leave, bro? You know, if I'm real, they might say, Buendia, realistically, we rate you, but you didn't set the Premier League a lot. You set the championship a lot. Come here, play week in, week out. You'll get your move regardless of what happens. Why do you want to leave now? Arsenal might be interested in you in the summer, but Barca and Madrid and this team and that team might be interested in you. I say that because I bought Buendia in Football Manager, and then he snaked it and went to AC Milan. He started going on strike and all those sort of things. So it is what it is, man. Corporations of the deep state shown their real identity. Puppets evil globally. Facts, man. You know. Paul Torres is a bad boy, but it seems like Real Madrid are hellbent on him, and Real Madrid, Arsenal for a Spanish player. Do we really have half a chance? I'm not too sure. Mavropanos keep or sell. Another one. You put an offer on my table. I'm selling him. I do think he deserves to show Arteta how he's improved. If anything, early doors in pre-season. I do think there's legit case for him to stay under Mislintat and stay at Stuttgart, because not only do they understand him and they're giving him a platform, they really understand the man's injury issue. So it could be worth it. And again, and he's had a very good loan spell. If he has a next better loan spell, that's a next money. And I think I would love to see Mavropanos get a chance. I do think he's going to be a decent centre half. To what level, I don't know. But what I think is going to go against him is that when I look at Saliba and Gabriel, they're all of similar ages. They're, you know, the club is not only similar ages, we put significant investment on them, man, as well. Not in relation to Mavropanos, we might just take a profit on him. And I do think from a tactical point of view, just based on what I have seen of Mavropanos at Stuttgart and doing the loan reports, I don't think the passing level of him is of the quality that Arteta demands of in relation to some of the others, like even David Luiz. I think that will go against him. I know it shouldn't against the centre half, but I think that is. Joe deserves his chance. I'd keep Joe for the squad. I wouldn't put Joe in a position where we rely on him. I still think what I'm seeing at Newcastle, Joe Willock still is very much all gear, not really idea. You know, I still need to see a bit more quality on the ball. What game was it? Was it Southampton? That was the one. I'm still seeing what I've always seen with Joe. I'm liking the confidence. I'm liking the improvement, but it's still, you know, when the game's open, it requires legs and getting up there. That's an option, but I need a bit more of that, less than that, because at Arsenal, 9 times out of 10, we're playing low blocks. So it is what it is. It would suit him, you know. That's one thing I don't think helped Joe. He's not a 10. I get the pressing thing, but he's not a 10. Sometimes we did the pressing thing. Sometimes it came across like we're trying to make him this elegant number 10. And as you lot know, that is dead. And he's not that. He's industry. He's getting about sort of guy, man. Is what it is. Thank you for the content, DG. Best channel on YouTube. Oh, thank you. And like I said, man, I hope you're doing decent, and I hope you've got over what you needed to in relation to your little spell in hospital. And it's nice to see you're in better spirits. Wishing you and everybody here continued success. I really appreciate that. And also continued health. Good health. Mavropanos was a bit of a joke based on what I saw. He was raw with it, 100%. You remember he had a great game against United away from home. But remember Watford away. Remember Crystal Palace at home? I was that game, you know. I'm not going to blame him. Mustafi switched off from Benteke, but who gave the free kick? I could be wrong. But did he not have a shaky game against Leicester? I could be wrong on that. West Ham, I'm sure he got bullied. I could be wrong on that. It is what it is. I don't think Joe Willock is the new Ramsey, but I do think people sleep on Joe. I've spoken about that already, and Ian, I think it's some BS. You know, would I bring back Guendouzi? Yes, I would. But at the same time, I think Arsenal need to double down on decisions. As much as I want him to come back, if it's not at that thing, go and get some money from him. He's got a year left. What I don't want is a year left of his deal, and we're in this limbo business, because we're already going to take a significant hit on Torreira, sadly, because of what's happened. You shouldn't be taking an L on Guendouzi. It's impossible. You should be at least to get it's pennies. You should be able to at least get 10 million and more or less break even and slap a sell-on clause on that. You know, that's what I believe anyways. But our priorities, as I said, central midfield, man. Mo, you're on Bants. Man said Tammy Alonso and 20 million. Man are giving me them basement deals, bro. Them pre-owned games in CX and that with bare scratches and that you're moving mad. Shout out to Tammy. I wouldn't even mind Tammy as a second choice and on the bench and whatnot. Alonso, you're bluffing. You never taking Bukayo Saka, you know. Don't dream, Mo. You're a cool guy, Mo, man. I don't know you, and I definitely ain't seen your face, but you just seem like a positive guy whenever you're in here, man. Shout out to you, man. I like McGuinness and Ballard, but at the same time, if I'm one of them, unless the manager tells me, yo, you've really got a chance, I'd probably keep it moving because what? If I'm Ballard, whether you think you're better than them or not, you're fighting with Clark, you're fighting with Medley, you're fighting with McGuinness, you're fighting with Mavropanos, who's also young like you-ish. Gabriel, young like you-ish. Saliba, two of them young centre-half, significant investment, you know. Chambers is still here for a year. Holding has signed a new deal. David Luiz might be given a new deal. Marie is here. I said I want a new centre half. I'm not saying someone might not go, but I want a new centre half. So you see how it could get gazy, you know. Obviously, I hope one of them can force it out and whatnot. But it is what it is. Well, that's bare pre-owned games with bare scratches, bare basement deals. Arsenal had enough of them basement ones, man. Who do you think will replace Jose at Spurs? Well, right now, it's Ryan Mason, my broski. You know, unless it's Mason Mount, Hudson Odoi, unless it's the creme de la creme games, I'm not on it. No more special offers, man. No more special offers. I'm not trying to buy listen, PS5 is out. I'm not trying to buy PS3. It's not making sense. You know, it's not making sense. You're right. He could be a good player, but it all depends, man. We've got a lot of projects, and are we going to work on 3 projects in defense with Mavropanos, Saliba, and Saliba and Gab? Sorry, I'm not sure, man. Who am I hating on? I ain't hating on no one, man. Danny, I appreciate that. That's massive praise. Massive praise. Massive praise. Don't know if I'm worthy of that, but is what it is, man. Trust me, he is only interested in that, man. He really is. What was your best FM career? My hardest one was this year. It took me 4 years to win the league. I'd say my best one was last year because I won the league in my first year with the Xhakas, the Xhakas, the Bellerins, and all of those guys there, and the Europa League. So I'd say that, man. Listen, we've got to give Balogun time to develop. It's down to him, innit? We don't know. I haven't seen Balogun play 20 first team games. I know he's got the potential. I know he's got ability. I know he's good. But I don't know what I'm seeing from you. So we need to give him scope to develop. Because I'm not saying you, but I just feel there's a lot of expectations and things being thrown on Balogun. So when he hits that road bump, like it's going to happen with Martinelli, as it happened with Joe and Maitland, it's a problem, you know? You finish third. Boy, I can't relate, man. Different. My thing different. My thing very different, my guy. I will be on that, man. Follow me on Twitch, the Ludiguna 187 for them things there, man. You know, for them football manager things there. If you're not following on Twitch, you ain't in the know, man. It's what it is. You know, he is growing. But Joe Willock is his own guy. I think not everybody has to go on and be doing what Saka and Martinelli's doing. Some man can be squad players, you know. Smith Rowe's potential is limitless. Do I think Smith Rowe is going to quite be to the stature of Saka and Martinelli? Low, but he can still be of great importance. He can still be arguably of equal importance. Some man can be first teamers. Some man got to be the squad guy. Some players got to be sold on for profit. You know, not everyone has to make it here. Some players are going to, you know, burst on the scene, go flying, then hit adversity. Some man are gonna struggle and then go flying straight. You know, look at Iwobi. Man weren't really rating his thing when he came in the first team. He took to it way better than someone like Reece Nelson or Hudson Odoi, who were spoken of being up there with Sancho and that. And he's struggling. They're all struggling. That's not a criticism. This is me showing you it's all different routes, you know. Martinelli's even struggling. There's even little bits I can nitpick of Martinelli's game, and I have been nitpicking them, and I don't think you lot are talking about them until they become really prevalent. I said it from the moment Gabriel came. You see what is going on, you know. Don't forget about Tyrese Gunman, John Jules, you know, back from injury. He's played the last 2 games. Not real substantial minutes, but you saw a great finish from him yesterday for Doncaster. That man stays fit. He's got a chance. I love him, man. Love Tyrese John Jules in the same way. I love all of them, man. We always overhype guys, and there's nothing wrong with it, but just allow man to develop. Man were calling Reece Nelson a messiah when he came back from Hoffenheim. And again, not to say I'm knowledgeable, the most knowledgeable, but for you guys, I'm watching these games and I'm sitting there and I'm like, nah. Like sometimes he hasn't scored and he's played better. Sometimes he's scored and it's gone downhill. He's still developing, man. Trust me, my guy. I don't know about 420, but you know, Defo on that Super League pack, and defo on that sad excuse of a human being. Justice for George Floyd, and that, man, is where it is. I don't think it would be either. If I could pick Omar, I'd say Balogun, but I'd say Martinelli to that, man. You know, I'd probably say that. If David Luiz is given an extremely marginalized role, then why not? If anything other than that, no. I think we need to. I don't underprice experience, but I think we need to move away from that. You know, we're already over a line on Aubameyang. We've already got Willian in the team. We'd be over a line on David Luiz. You know, we overworked and over relied on Koscielny. So let's learn from our mistakes, really, and find longevity. That's just me, man. He needs to finish. Martinelli needs to improve bare things. He's still a bad boy. Nah, you should be gassing Martinelli. He's a bad boy striker. He's gonna be sick. He just needs to improve. Like, it's simply, you know, he's just not a Messiah thing. Like, it is what it is, man. Hypervenom, you gotta be here tomorrow at 11:30. We'll get into that, people. On that note, though, I'm gonna kick out of here, though. I'm not even gonna sit here and cap to you lot, people. Hey, last question. The man said chances for Carnival this year. I'm asking the real questions here. Giovanni, by all means, we're going Carnival this year. Carnival's happening. Carnival's happening, man. But on that note, I'm going to kick out of here, people. I've been here for an hour and 20 minutes. I'm hungry, people. On that note, please make sure you hit the like button. Please make sure you continue moving the messages about getting Kroenke out of here and things like that. Make sure you hit the like button, man. Come on, man. I appreciate all of you. Like, adios, amigos, man. Jake, save that for 11:30 tomorrow, my dude. You know, I appreciate all of you lot, man. I appreciate all of you lot, man. Nah, man, you didn't offend me, my guy. It's banter, man. It's banter. It's banter. It's cool, man. I don't know for Spurs' protest, but shout out to them for that one there. Peace out, everyone. Big up, everyone. Come on, man. I appreciate all of the comments, all the engagement, and all of these sort of things. Have a great day, man. And yeah, man, I'm out.